the goodness of God. We know God is love and the lessons of love. How many of you have had a few lessons of love in your life? Yep. Love's always teaching us. I love the quote when Rumi said, "Love is the mother, and we are her children." And ever trying to have us grow in love, and boy, do we need it. We need a whole shift in our consciousness about what love means. Now, Kirk and I this week, we had our 48th wedding anniversary. It's taken us this long to figure things out. Well, so far so good right now anyway. But yes, it's beautiful. And it's hard. I was telling Deanna, a little preface to that, Kirk and I planned a sweet little evening together. We were really looking forward to a nice, quiet little evening together. Made a reservation at a place we really like, and that was really fun. And then Deanna calls, forgetting it's our anniversary, says, "Hey, Mom, Brooke, Naya, and I are coming up for the evening." And so our reservation went from 2 to 4.5. But it was so sweet because God planned it so well. They were late, so we had an hour to have some champagne by ourselves and reminisce over our life in the 48 years. And we went back to our honeymoon in San Francisco when we left at the top of the mark too late and missed a cab to get home to our hotel, which was in Union Center. And I had high heels on, so Kirk took his socks off. And we walked back to the hotel, me in his socks and he in his shoes. Isn't that a sweet story? And it goes on from there. But anyway, it was a sweet story. And then the kids came and made us realize the best things are right here. They're right, the nowness of it all. It was really sweet. But I said to Deanna, it's hard to be married for 48 years when you don't feel any older than that. So interesting. But love has certainly been something that's defined our lives in both the ups and the downs, and I'm sure it's defined everyone's life. And I think children are a little bit of a theme, and how beautiful to see you here today. How beautiful that is. Well, what's her name? Callie? Just pretty as the rose. Thank you, Callie, for being here. But children are a beautiful thing to remember that I realized how important it is to care for our children. Children want love so bad. I mean, you remember, children cry for food and they cry for love, the same as adults. Mother Teresa said the greatest poverty we have in the world, and this was right now, this was many years ago, is loneliness. That's the greatest poverty in the world. People are lonely and in despair, and we have the opportunity to help. Because she went on to say, yes, loneliness is the biggest poverty in the world right now, and the only cure is love. And so that's our job. That's our job, to find out how to love in a better way. And that's the biggest lesson I think we have. If you look at the people on our walls, right over here, we love these people because people love lovers. And that's what Michael was talking about this morning. People love lovers. And every one of these people on the wall here, different faiths, different traditions, different cultures, all knew that God is love, and that's why we're here. And they did their work, all very important work, because they were so grounded in love. Now on our other wall over here, Jesus is the master teacher of love. That's why his words I love the words of Jesus because they're all so grounded in love. He said there's no place in this world for dislike, hatred, viciousness, none. We have to focus on love. And he said continually, Dr. Jim and I were talking about how many times Jesus said this in the Bible, love your neighbor as yourself. And we got to 10, right? Jim, we got to 10, and we hadn't finished counting, but that's a lot of times. But I'm going to talk about self-love first, because love your neighbor as yourself. Self-love is not negotiable. If we say God is love and we're the children of God, we have to be in love, and we have to love ourselves. That's just a non-negotiable thing in this world. And when I talk about the importance, and Gretchen, I'm going to need you in a minute, the importance of getting our children's program back, and thank you, Tina, for that. Yes, donuts, not broccoli, yay! It's so important because this morning I was sitting just thinking about my own kids and their experience in teen camp and how they'd been through religious science and went on to teen camp, and then they both took foundations at age 13 at different times, the foundations of science of mind. But what we teach our children in religious science, and the number one thing, is how important and special they are. When Rumi said, when someone asks what is love, love has no calculating in it. That's why it's a quality of God and not of human beings. The only possible sentence is God loves you. And then I called Kirk kind of late and said, could you get the music out to this? Because this song won't stop ringing in my head. And it's because I used to drive, I facilitated, I was a facilitator, a mom, so they say, up at teen camp for probably 4 years. And I drive the kids to the local camp, and it was like sometimes 6 hours driving, sometimes 4. But they would sing this song over and over and over and over and over and over. 6 hours worth of this song. And so since I tried to sing it so I could sing it to you, but I think that would just spoil it too badly. So I asked Gretchen and Kirk if they would, thank you, babes, you're such a good husband.
And if you do know it,
yes, please sing along.
Please sing along with me.
I will with Gretchen.
Okay. I love myself the way I am. There's nothing I need to change. I'll always be the perfect me. There's nothing to rearrange. I'm beautiful and capable of being the best me I can. And I love myself just the way I am. I love you the way you are. There's nothing you need to do. When I feel the love inside of me, it's easy to love you. Behind your fears, your rage and tears, I see your shining star. And I love you just the way you are. I love the world the way it is, 'cause I can clearly see that all the things I judge are done by people just like me. So till the birth of peace on earth that only love can bring, I'll help it grow by loving everything. Yeah. I love myself the way I am, and still I want to grow. But change outside can only come when deep inside I know that I'm beautiful and capable of being the best me I can. And I love myself just the way I am. Yes, I love myself just the way I am. Thank you.
Can you imagine growing up with those words running through your head continually? Don't we want all our kids to have that opportunity? Because we know that love can hurt. And it can hurt really bad. It can be rejection or failure loss. It hurts. But when we have that reservoir, that reserve within us to call upon, we can handle it. We can learn how to move through it and learn the lessons that it's teaching us. Because I know for each of us, we all have the greatest pain in our life that can come up like this, that can bring tears to our eyes because we remember how much it hurt. But if we've done our work, we also know it's the time we've had the greatest opportunity to grow and learn. The thing that brought me closest to the fullness and the eternal nature of God's love is when I had to lose someone very close to me. And I remember at first just saying, there can't be a God with this much pain. There can't be. And then I realized, no, God is so big. It doesn't stop in these bodies. God's love is so much bigger than that. It goes on forever. That love never, ever dies. It's eternal, it's infinite, it's huge, and it's ever calling us to a greater experience. And that's why we need to learn these lessons, as hard as they are. I know Barbara's back doing vigil, but she said several weeks ago when someone asked, what's inside of you? And the answer was pain and sorrow. God said, stay with it. Because the wound is where the light comes through. So we have to build ourselves up that we can stay with it. That we're going to make this world the place it's meant to be, I have no question. But it's hard work, and we have to be willing to do that work. We have to be willing to learn the lessons. I said last week that love is a living remedy. It's the greatest healing power on this planet, in this world, in the universe. It's the greatest healing power there is because it lifts us up to a greater understanding. Not just we tolerate life, but we understand more about life, and we grow and become something more in it, something more. Mother Teresa also said, life is a song, sing it, right? Life is a struggle. And now she didn't say, and deal with it, but I did. And she said, life is a struggle. Accept it, learn from it, grow from it. We came here for both the wonderful, joyous things and for the struggles to make us strong and more capable to do what we're called to do. That's here for us. There was a story that I told a long time ago. I guess a lot of memories come up when it's anniversary time. And I was thinking of stories I told a long time ago at the center. And this is a story about relationships. And it relates relationships to two rocks that are put in a bag together. And these rocks are rough. They're just learning about themselves and just learning about life. And these rocks are in this bag together and they keep bumping up against each other. You can see what happens. The little chips wear off. And the more they rub together, the smoother they get. And when you take them out, they're no longer rough rocks. They're smooth, shiny stones. Sometimes in our life, it's the sandpaper people. You know who those are? Those are just so scratchy to rub against. Those people are the ones we need most in our life. Okay, you can breathe. You can breathe on that. Those people are the most important people because they can smooth us out. They can smooth us out and make us expand and grow, be more accepting and understanding. And that's what we're here to do. That is what we are here to do. So, when Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself, so we start without a doubt. And I told you last week, and I've been doing this, I'm thinking all the little things I've touched on this week. A bit of sadness, a bit of loneliness, a trigger of upset. This morning was rather confusing with some things that happened. And I've been saying this just simple two lines of Rumi, and it's helped unbelievably. So I'm going to tell you again in case you forgot. He said, I open and fill myself with love. Meaning you have to keep working on it. Not just a little bit, not just this part of you, but the whole part of you. Open and fill myself with love. and everything unlike love evaporates. But we have to open and absolutely fill ourselves from the bottom of our toes to the top of our head with this essence and energy of this thing called love. It's not a sentimentality, it's an energy. It's a remedy, it's a healing presence. And then we can do the work that's called for. So your neighbor, I think the neighbor he's talking about is somebody you come in contact with. Love your neighbor, the person you come in contact with, as yourself. And that's when the healing and the health and the connection begin. We have to be able to practice forgiveness. And forgiveness is not just, fine. It's understanding that people have situations and experiences different than ours, and they do things that we don't understand. We don't have to say, oh, that's great and fine and good, but we can understand that things are different, and we can wave off our negative emotions. Do any of you have any of that to do right now? Wave off some negative emotions that you've picked up from a little resentment or lack of forgiveness or unkindness or anything. Rub it off, wave it off, because a lack of forgiveness doesn't hurt the other person one bit. It eats away at the presence of goodness in us. It eats away at our sense of peace and calmness and lovability. Remember, we love lovers. So I had a quote this is something Rumi said, the healing energy of love. When we think about that, love heals dis-ease. When we're out of balance, love can bring us to that balancing place, the dis-ease. And usually that dis-ease, if it's mental, emotional, and oftentimes physical, comes from an inward sense of insecurity that we haven't yet brought to balance. We haven't yet infused that with love and let it go. We haven't infused it yet with the understanding that God is love and so am I. So we have to get to that place. And then this is something else Rumi said, and I really would offer this as a thought when you're starting to feel less than, or I can't handle this, it's too much for me, or I'm not enough, or does anybody ever have those feelings? I just can't quite do it, it's too much for me, it's not enough, I'm not good enough, whatever, all those things. Rumi said, I am so small I can barely be seen. How can this great love be inside of me? I'm so little. I'm just a little person. How can all of this magnitude of love be inside of me right now? And Rumi said, look at your eyes. They're small, but they see enormous things. That's possibility. And Mother Teresa said, none of us can do great things, but we can do small things with great love. And to me, that meant being able to see beyond the circumstances of this physical world. We're going to do a prayer in just a minute. And I want you to hold this thought in your mind. This was profound. This was from Ernest Holmes, and this was very profound for me about how tolerance grows into understanding and how understanding heals. He said, it takes a lot of living to discover that perhaps the person who lies drunk in the gutter is in their own way trying to find their lost treasure, even as is the one who kneels in ecstasy before the altar of God. That's stepping away from judgment. Each person is having their own experience. So I'm just going to ask you right now to close your eyes with me. Put your feet on the ground so you feel the warmth and the security of earth. Take a nice breath. As you fill up with a greater understanding, you're open. You're open to something more, something different. And together, as we dwell on this thought of love, we open to new ideas and new ways of showing up in this world, recognizing from the inside out that we are that expression of goodness, the expression of peace, the expression of love, that we can be on this planet right here and now, as we let go of the things that no longer serve us, that we don't look for love out there. We just simply become aware of all the barriers we've built against love in our life because of hurt or pain or whatever reason, that we can let that go. We can let it go, release it, and know a greater truth, a greater understanding. As we enter into that place, we clear our vision so we can see the world is a beautiful place, and all the lessons in it are calling us up, lifting us up to a greater truth of oneness and unity. That we are important. We have a place to play in this big scheme of the unfoldment of goodness, of light, of healing on our planet and our lives right here and right now. Within each of us, there is that light of spirit calling to grow, to be heard, to express. And as we feel that now, we allow love to fill our being. We allow ourselves to let go and let the light of spirit heal and express and be the truth that we live by. How good it is to be alive, how much we appreciate the experience of life for us to grow into the greatest yet to be that we are here to show, to express right now. In this peace and in this place, we do just as Rumi said, when we feel filled with this love, everything that is not that evaporates. So I invite us to just take a moment and let anything that is painful, hurtful, anything that's been a problem, just release that right now. Put that on the altar of love in this moment, that we may leave here lighter and brighter and more open to the goodness that surrounds us right here, right now, and always. We just close this prayer, this knowing, by saying together, and so it is. It's in those 4 words, and so it is, that shows our faith right now in something greater at work. We don't have to do this by ourselves. There's a power greater than we are that works with us in this moment. I see it for all of you, and I know that power is lifting us up in this moment to greater understanding of who we are and what the world has to teach us. Thank you all for being here and part of this beautiful expression of light that we call InSpirit. And so it is. Thank you.